Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm here today with our National Scrapbook Day project. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do my project live because I think us crafters broke YouTube Live, but it kept freezing every like 10 minutes and we just couldn't get the project done. So I'm going to go ahead and do the project now. I'm still going to give away a prize, so if you comment on this video, then you'll win a prize. And the prize is going to be, you could pick whether you want the completed album, you want a blank album, or if you want an album kit, which is going to be everything pre-cut and scored for you, but you're going to put it together. Here is the project. I'll have the cutting guide in the description box below. But here is our project. I did a full page cover folio. I know I normally don't. I normally just do the half page, but this time I did a full page. So you have plenty of space for photos. Like this will hold 4x6s, a 5x7, 2x3s, 3x5s, the whole 9. So you have all of this space, and the majority of this space, you just want to be mindful of your magnets. And then we open up and it does have multiple sections. This is my note to myself. But the first section here is going to be a pool waterfall. It's that one there. The next section is a fun little section that was based off a Pink Strawberries little booklet thing. So you have room here, photos, or just pretty paper in a photo, or journaling. And then on the back of it, again, we have more spots for photos. If you don't glue this down, that could have been a tuck spot, but I glued it down. Here we have the super cute nether space for more photo mats if you would like. But it pulls out and you have room for 2x3s. This one can fit a 4x6. Just kind of tuck it in. This photo mat is 4 1/4, so that's why it's a little bigger, but if it's a 4x6 picture, it'll fit perfectly. And then here's the back. Again, your 4x6 photos are sized perfectly for this blank space. Okay, and then you have the pocket here. This little piece is a pocket to fit more photos, more photo mats, whatever you want in there. Okay, and then it just closes nicely with that. Okay, then on this last section we have a cascading waterfall. I used eyelash trim just to tie it off, and you have a beautiful space for your 4x6 photos with a tiny little border in the middle. Again, you can add another 4x6, some journaling, whatever you would like. You don't have to add a closure if you don't want, but I just thought this was cute. Little closure. And there you are. Okay. And the back is just as beautiful. I used the paper with the branding strip, and I just thought that was like a really good kind of buffer strip there. I don't know. I thought it was cute. And the little bicycles. All right, so let's go ahead and make this. This does take a little while to make. And it is not, this is not the project to save paper. You're going to use a lot of paper. There's just no way around it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so your first cut on your cutting guide is 2 pieces of 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and you're going to score both of those on one side because it's a square, right? So there's no long or short side, at 1/2 inch and 1 1/2. So it's going to look like this. You're going to put your tape on the inside of the bumpy side. Yes, my tape is a little bit backwards because this is the cover that I did on National Scrapbook Day when the computer was acting up, and I didn't want to waste supplies, and so I just took my undo and undid. So yours is going to look like this. You're going to put your tape on the inside, on the bumpy side, on both of your 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 pieces. Okay, then you're going to cut a piece that is 7 3/4 by 8 1/4, scored on the short side at 1/2 inch and 1. Okay, so that's what it looks like so. Now this one, it doesn't matter which side you put your tape on because you're just attaching your cover to it, which is your next piece, and that is the 6 1/4 by 8 1/4 with no score. Okay, so go ahead and cut out all 4 of those pieces. Hit your pause button, cut out those pieces, and we'll put them together. We'll put them together. All right. So, alright, so take your 8 1/4 pieces by 8 1/4 piece with your tape on the inside, and you're going to go ahead and put those together. Your tape or your glue, whichever one you're using. Okay, and you're just going to attach that 1/2 inch piece to the unscore side of your second piece. Okay. And then you're going to bring in your, where's my glue piece? And then you're going to bring in your 7 3/4 by 8 1/4, and you are going to attach that to the unscored side of your 8 1/4 piece. So just stick that right on top. Your 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 piece right on top of your 7 3/4 piece, like so. Okay. If you want to be brave and do directional paper, then you need to watch this first. I guess I should have said that first, because your 7 3/4 piece needs to be at the end, because that's the piece that's going to fold in nicely, like so. Okay. Why does this look like it's, I don't know. Okay, so now on this piece right here that you have left over, you can attach your cover on the inside or the outside. Honestly, it doesn't matter. You're going to cover it anyway, and you can't see where that seam is. Mine is actually right here on the outside. And unless you like get right up on it and you look at that tiny little spot right there, that's only how you're going to tell that it's there. But you can obviously make it go like this way if you want to. So that's not on the cover. I didn't mind either way. So I'm putting mine here to where that seam is going to be on my cover, but like I said, it didn't bother me at all. Okay. But that cricketness definitely bothers me. Yes, I used tape, but it still has undo on it, so it's not dry all the way. That's why I was able to lift it so easily. There we go. So here is your cover. You're going to flip in like so. Okay, so we can go ahead and push that to the side because that's all we're going to do with our cover. And then you're going to go to your next section, which is our waterfall. And our waterfall is one piece at 6 1/4 by 10 3/4. And you're going to score it on the long side at 1/2 inch, 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, and 3. Yes, the measurements are in the description box, so please pause this and get that done. because mine's already done here. This is the part where the computer cut off. So let's see here. So I cut it to 6 1/4 by 10, and then I scored it half, 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, and 3. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna varnish these lines really well. You do want to make them nice and crisp because it does need to move. I am actually going to do mine both ways. So I folded everything this way. Now I'm going to flip it over and just kind of run through it quickly on this other side. Just because this is breaking down those fibers, and it will make for a prettier waterfall pool. Okay, and now I'm coming back to this side again. Okay, and there you go. So now we have that piece, and you need to cut one piece, which is 1 inch by 7 1/4, and you just score it at 1/2 inch on both sides. So I have some scraps here. So 1 inch by 7 1/4. Alright, scored a 1/2 inch on both sides. For my scoreboard users, I did write that actual measurement, which is a 1/2 inch and 6 3/4. Okay, so for this one, we're just going to set that aside right here. And next you're going to go ahead and cut out 6 pieces, which are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. There are no score marks. These are our flaps, okay? So if you're going to do different color flaps for your waterfall, this is where you want to use your different colors. I have a ton of scraps. This is my black scrap basket, so I'm going to use scraps. Oh, look, I found another mini of them. So you can get 3 of these out of the 12 by 12 paper. Maybe more, I don't know. But I'm going to use all scraps. So go ahead and cut yours out. So 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And no score lines. Okay, so I'm going to pause and get all of mine cut out. You need 6 of these. Okay, so all 6 of my pieces are cut out. That is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And what you want to do is, I like to work kind of upside down, so I'm flipping my base upside down so I can just work like this and put every single mat on like that. You can do that. So if you're a glue person, go ahead and add your glue, but if you're a tape person, add your tape. We're going to stack it up. All 6 we're just going to add in between the lines. And then you're going to add your flaps. If you're faster with glue, use your glue. Okay. Making sure you're not touching your score lines at all. Okay, that piece just wanted to be on the floor, I guess. Okay. So take off one, make sure there's no overhang, add your piece on. You do not want to touch that score line. I'm using tape here because if I do go over the score line, I can always hit it with some undo and take my tape off. If you're wondering what undo is, it's just like a adhesive remover that I love. I was lost without it when I was in Ecuador. Some people say you can use lighter fluid. I did try to use acetone, but that was a disaster. Okay. And here we go. Don't mind if you can see the score marks on these ones. Don't mind these because these were actually an accident. I had mismeasured from a different project, but I just threw them in the scrap bin, and they are perfect for this project here. Oh no, I forgot. Look, I got overhang. It's easier to tuck it in than to cut it off at the end. Okay, last one. Now, how I'm gonna do my waterfall pool, it is different. I saw somebody do this, and I thought this was just a really, really good idea because what did I do wrong here? It's not lining up. That means I put a flap on wrong, but what I'm going to do is just force it to line up and redo the last score line. Okay, there we go. Now it's lined up. What a lot of people do is they just put this down and then glue it to the book here and here. But I saw someone do it this way, and I cannot remember who I saw doing it. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. Let me fix this last flap real quick. It actually wasn't the last flap. It was this one that I had on crooked, but I fixed it. And I had one over the score line. Anyway, so, but I saw someone do this, and I thought this was really, really clever. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece here, and we are going to glue it to the back of our last flap or first flap, whichever way you want to describe it. Like so. Like so. So put tape, fold your flaps in, put tape on the outside. Okay, so see my flaps are folded in, and we're going to put it on that last flap or first flap, whichever way you want to say it. But if your book is closed, it's going to be on this flap right here. Okay. So just right at the end, it's going to go over a little bit, but you're fine with, I'm fine with that, you're fine with that, everyone's fine with it. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to take this piece down here, and we're going to push it through the flip. I have to work upside down. You see how I was struggling? Okay, so you're just going to push it right through. Yes, your paper is going to fight you. No, it doesn't fight you like this when you're not on camera, but when you're on camera, it fights you. And it should lie flat, okay? Make sure it lies flat. It will not fight you that hard. I don't know. This is the curse project. Okay, so see, now everything is like nice and even. If you hold on to the back, you can go ahead and pull, which is hard to do when it's not glued down. Okay, so what I like to do is go ahead and add my tape to the belly band only. Do not put your tape or glue anywhere else on this. Belly band only. Yeah. Where's my... Here we go. Okay. Belly band only. And that is going to get glued down to the second section here. You do want to mat first, because when you pull this down, you know, you can see a little behind it. So I matted the full page, and it is only glued by that belly band, which is right here. So I just thought this was a cleaner look. You can't see it. It's not bigger than the page. It's not bigger than your waterfall. And it's still an easy pull, a super fun little mechanism. Okay, so we are going to glue that right here. Okay, so how I have my cover, I have big spine, little spine. That's just how I'm remembering how to lay out my book. If you wanted a different layout, by all means, flip your book however you want. But that's that. So because I am not matting this book just yet, I may or may not, I haven't decided, what I'm going to do is just take a paper clip and clip it right here in this section. And I have an obnoxiously big paper clip. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the third section. Which is this flip out in the flap. Okay, so let's get our cutting guide back in here. And we need one piece which is 9 by 7 3/4. So paper. By 7 3/4. This paper got rolled over by a chair, so and we need to score on the long side at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. So long side 4 1/4. And 8 1/2. Okay, that's our first piece. And then our second piece needs to be 4 1/4 by 7 3/4. So try to find some scraps. What you just cut off should work. If you're using 12 by 12. Then it should be exactly 4 1/4, and then you just have to cut it down to 7 3/4. That one doesn't get any score marks at all. Okay, put that down. And then we need a piece that is 3 3/4 by 8 3/4. So again, use some scraps. So 3 3/4 by 8 3/4. 8 3/4. 3 3/4. And that one is scored on the long side at 1/2 and 8 1/4. It's basically 1/2 inch on both sides. And this is our flap thing. Okay, we will do our pocket in just a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do these 2 pieces and then we'll do a pocket. Alright, so these 3 pieces, let's go ahead and put them together. Okay. So this piece here that we did the score lines, the last piece we just cut, you're going to put tape on the dented side here. See how I folded in my flaps? I'm putting tape here, or if you're a glue person, you're going to use your glue here. Okay. Alright, set that aside. Come back to this piece here that we scored. The very first piece, the 9 by 7 3/4. Go ahead and varnish those score lines like so. We're going to put our tape on the inside here on the bumpy side, and we are going to attach our piece that has no score lines whatsoever. So you're going to put your glue on the inside, and you're going to go ahead and take this and just attach it right here. That's pretty much all folios are, just attaching everything with a 1/2 inch hinge. Okay. So this piece right here is going to be my inside pocket. This is this piece right here. This piece right here. We're about to put this on. This is the piece that is has the 2 score lines. So that's what we're working on right now. This was the folded piece. Okay. So bring this piece back in. If you already pre-taped, or if you're gluing, now you're going to glue, and you're going to put it right here on this last piece, which I feel like mine is not cut right. It's not. Alright, let me recut this piece because I mismeasured, or I grabbed the wrong piece. No, I didn't. I didn't want it to go all the way to the right hand side. That's right. I came up with this project so long ago that I forgot. Alright, so you're going to put it all the way. You have your 3 pieces. You're going to take this piece, which is 3 3/4. You're going to put it all the way to the left, right up against that score line. No border. And you're going to set this in. That's right, because I wanted to have the extra strip. Now, this next step is optional. Make sure everything lays flat by varnishing your lines. See how it's open like a belly band, if you want it open like a belly band, you can have it open like a belly band, but I'm going to take my glue, my wet glue, or your 1/8 of an inch score tape. I guess we could have score taped first. And I'm just going to seal that pocket. I'm just putting a little tiny bit of glue. And I'm just going to seal the pocket. Nothing falls out, but I think it just laid flatter for me when I put glue on it. Okay. So now you can round your corner if you want, which that's what I did. Oh my gosh. That corner still looks busted. Alright, whatever. And then what I did was I mountain folded this one. So mine popped out like this. And then you can mat it however you want. For instance, in my book, I made this piece right here for the 2x3 pictures because I have a lot of 2x3 pictures. But you can mount it however you want. Now, when I laid this piece down, I did mat first. Again, so I matted the blue first, and then I put this down. It's up to you how you want to do it. I added, because I had like this big space here, and I was going to do one big piece, but I wanted to kind of show off more elements of the paper, and so I did 3 like little color blocks. I thought that was really cute. So again, we're going to paper clip that down because you want to mat first on this one. And that's what my sticky note said. Oh, that's the other note. So you want to leave the right side open when you're matting, so that way you can put your flap in. So, where's my cover? I don't know where my cover went to. So when you're matting, you want to leave this right side, or just do this flap first before you put your mat down, because you want to cover the hinge. This is also the second reason why I had to put a strip here, was because I did not leave my matting up to put this hinge in, and I didn't like it on top. It just looked weird, and so I pulled up my matting with a spatula and pulled it up enough where I could put my hinge in there, and then I had to cover up that pull up, and then I added the doors because I thought they were super cute. But yeah, that was what my note said. Leave the right side of your matting up, or just put your flap down first. Okay, and then seal the pocket, which I did. Alright, so if I knew where my, here it is. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take and clip this little fun element. I'm going to clip it here with another ginormous paper clip, because I know I need to put that flap down before I put my mat. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that flap. That flap is, we're going to do the flap and the pocket. The pocket is 2 by 8 5/8. So 2 inches. By 8 5/8. That is 1, 3, 5. I make my pockets like slightly smaller than my page, so that way it goes nicely. And because this is a vertical pocket, we need to do 2 on the long side and 1 on the short side. So half an inch, and half an inch. So score on the long side, 8.5, and then 8 1/8. And then on the short side, oh, I didn't have that in here, a half an inch. Normally I don't write that on a pocket, but I know someone might get a little confused because pockets, we normally do it the other way, but I don't want you to be too confused. So let's add that. All right, take your tape if you're taping and go ahead. Oh gosh, I just threw that pencil and it went all the way behind the desk thing. And I just found out, random talking, Tim Holtz no longer has this ruler. It's a new one. I might have to buy the new one. It looks pretty cool, but everything is etched in. But mine have lasted, these ones are about 3 years old. My other one lasted about 6 years, and I still have it. It's just some of it's worn off, not all of it, but apparently the new one, it's etched in there, so it will last for forever. All right, scissors, cut at your X, miter at your X. And we need our piece that I already put away because I forgot. We're still working on it. Making sure your pocket opening is to the right. You're going to add this pocket right on top. You want to make sure that you mitered enough that your pieces are not touching each other, which mine are. Okay. All right, and you want to make sure that your pocket is opening to the right as well. On this one. So folded edge on this cut edge. And I'm pretty sure I gave myself a tiny little border. No, maybe not. It should be just slightly smaller than the page. Okay. Get that in there. So now you have two pockets that open to the right. Now this piece is done and we can clip it in our book because now we need to work on our flap. So our flap is, I think I dropped all of my pencils. Okay. It's 7 by 7.5, scored on the short side at 1/2 and 3/4. That is going to give us a nice little area to add more pictures. Now in my finished book, I did not add that 1/4 of an inch score mark because honestly I just forgot, and it's a little hard to get your flap in and out. But if you follow your cutting guide, which I didn't do the first time, then it will be perfect. All right, so 7 by 7.5. And on the short side, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. And 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Now this is going to make your life so much easier. On my prototype, I did do this extra 1/4 of an inch measurement. So it looks like this. Okay, go ahead and put your tape on the outside. Tape's going on the dented side. If you put your tape on the wrong side, it's fine. Just force your paper the other way. Or if you glue on the wrong side, just wipe your glue off, let it dry a second, and then just re-glue. Alright, so here's our middle section. I'm not gluing this piece down, but I am going to go ahead and glue my flap in there if you want. So that way you can map over your hinge. Okay. I'm working upside down, sideways to get this in there. So it's just on that 1/2 inch flap. You're going to center it as best as you can. I think it's 1/4 inch from both sides if you want to be precise. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And so now when you mat and then glue this piece in, look how much easier that is just to tuck in your piece, because I had that extra little 1/4 inch. My other one, I have to hold it up and pull it out, but that's okay. I mean, it's not a tragedy if you forget that 1/4 inch. Clearly, it still works. And what I'm talking about is this one here, the flap right in here. See, this one didn't have that extra, and so now to close it, I have to lift this up. Still beautiful. All right, cascading waterfall is our next piece, and that's going to be really, really quick. That is just 6 pieces of 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. This is how you're going to cut your paper if you're using 12 by 12. Cut it at 6 1/4. Save this piece. Rotate this again and on 4 3/4 and 4 3/4. Okay, that's 2. And then you're going to take this piece here, you're going to cut it at 6 1/4 on the long side, and then 4 3/4. Okay, that's how you get 3 out of there. There's just really no other way I can think of to save paper, but that's just what it is if you want this folio. And you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the short side, and you're going to put your tape on the dented side if you are using tape. Okay, so you need 6 of those. Okay, so I got mine all cut, varnished, and taped up. Now, this one I did not mat first, okay? I made it specifically this size so I can color block, and you're not matting the full page. You're only matting this 1 inch and 1 inch, okay? So I placed my Cascade 1 inch from the top, 1 inch from the bottom, and the only piece I had to mat fully was in here. Okay, so I did not do a full page. As you can see, I have 3 different patterns. I did do my little hinges because I thought that was cute, but I measured mine 1 inch from the top, 1 inch from the bottom, and that is how we got along here. Okay, so here's my book. I'm just going to take my ruler And I am marking off 1 inch. What does that look like? Oh, that was a shadow. I was like, why did my score line look weak? Okay, I've lost every single pencil I own. Alright, so here is 1 inch, 1 inch, and I did the same thing here. After you place your first one on each side, then you just follow the waterfall. It may or may not be exact. I don't know. You just get it as close as you can to those lines. And I think I did leave like a tiny border just because I'm a border girl, so everything has a border, even when it's not supposed to. Alright, so that one is in. And I only pinch down this piece so I can make sure these actually line up. They do. Okay. So now you're just going to continue on like so, line it up. Come on. It's stuck on my finger. Press it down. I pressed in the wrong spot. Alright. No, I guess it's fine. It's fine. It's just slightly off. And then you just keep going on both sides like that until you have them all placed where you want to place them. And you're good with that. Okay. I'm going to do that off camera because apparently I'm struggling. Okay, and last piece in. Okay. So again, because I did not mat first, you can, what I did was I put solid cardstock here and then a designer paper, and then I glued my, actually I taped my ribbon eyelash trim down the middle, and then I matted over the top of it because I used a Cartabella paper, so you guys know how super thick Cartabella paper is, so you can't even see where I glued that ribbon down underneath it. So now I'm just making them go either which way. I added that ribbon just as something different because normally I do magnets, but I'm running out of magnets, and so you would either put your magnets here or your ribbon closure, and you are good to go. That is it, my friends. So very easy, just a little time consuming, but a very easy wow folio. This is what we just made. So you don't need to mat these because your 4x6 picture will fit perfectly. Let me just grab one. Oh my gosh, of course I have no vertical pictures. Alright, well, we'll just show my mama. So see how perfectly your 4x6 pictures fit on there? Like so. And your horizontal pictures are going to fit perfectly on your waterfall, your pool waterfall, and you don't need to mat. Alright, so you're going to pull these, put these on the top and the bottom when you pull them, so you don't need to mat at all on your waterfalls. Okay, that's why I sized them the way they did, because the less matting for me, the better. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you got to the end here, please leave a comment in the description box, and I'm going to pull a winner on May 19, 2025. And again, I'm going to have the prizes of this completed book, the book we just did that's not matted at all, and or if you want a kit of the pre-cut stuff and you put it together yourself. So if I pick your name as a winner, I'll ask you. So I'll have 3 winners, 2 or 3 winners. I don't know if I'm gonna do the kit if no one really wants it. So anyway, all right, guys. Or if you want a kit, I can cut it and you can purchase it. All right, thanks so much, guys. Bye.